everyone. Welcome to a special edition of almost 2026 Swimming with Whales. It's the countdown. We just have a couple of weeks. And I can tell you, I don't know, Dar, how you feel. I don't know how Harry feels. He's quiet all the time. But I can tell you that, I don't know, it kind of creeped up on us. The 2026, it's like all of a sudden, no?
You know what, Ben? It's whether it's 2026 or 2025, we got some goals, right? And we're going to accomplish those goals no matter what. But it gives us a fresh start mentally, psychologically to figure out what the goals are financially, personally. And I want to dive in with you what your goals are. Because I know your goals are a lot about passive income. So everyone loves to hear about your goals.
Let me tell you, I love the view in my background right here. That's what I love. I love the ocean. It's a little bit windy today in Miami. I was lucky enough to be here this week for my son's graduation from University of Miami. We've got another college grad in the house, School of Business with especially in marketing. So yes, we will look for results. You betcha. Now, as far as goals, my goal is at this point, 11:52 midday East Coast time, is to have 7 or 8 or 9 more hours during today where I am being productive, where I am hanging out with my son, where my wife and my younger, they went back to LA, and my daughter and my son who just graduated are here in Miami. So now during the holiday season, Hanukkah, first candle was yesterday, and we're just full of gratitude, full of blessings during this amazing time of, thankfulness and holiday season that all of us are experiencing at all religions, or again, some of the religions during this next 30 days. There's tragedies, unfortunately, just like we just, heard and in Australia. And we want to make sure that these types of things will not continue to happen. Here on Swimming with Whales, we are transparent to the world. We are very welcoming. We are very, very open to just being real with everyone. That first and foremost, just like Dar asked me, Ben, what are your goals? And I said, these are my goals for today. And, obviously I can go on and go, we don't have the time for you guys to listen to, 30 minutes of goal setting, which is what I can probably walk everybody through. We want to be more productive with your time. We appreciate everyone listening to us as you're riding your bike, as you're watching a video, as you're, driving in the car. And the most important thing, how can we be value add to you guys? How can the platform, Money Management Today, how can Dr. Dar, with his knowledge, with what he knows and what he's willing to share and be transparent about, really help you guys? Just like me, Ben Soifer, private equity fund manager. How can I help you guys? Are you an affiliate? Are you a partner? We're gonna start doing on the last episode that we did, which we haven't aired yet, but we will be airing our episodes somewhere in the new year. In the first quarter of the new year, we started talking about investigative reporting. And I want to kind of bridge into the concept of what we want to talk about in today's segment, as far as being real, looking at the goals for, again, 2026 and what's achievable. And almost like in real estate, you look at comparables. Well, that's what investigative reporting is in any space, whether it's medicine or whether it's in, business world. You have to do your due diligence and see the facts. And on Wednesday of this week, I'll be flying to Houston to do a walkthrough on a property that we are currently in escrow on. And I got to remove contingencies. And one of the requirements that we have as a fund is that the fund manager, whoever's in charge of the acquisitions, must physically walk the property prior to us removing contingency. So as much as I feel comfortable with our management company, with our broker, with our lender, with the property itself, don't forget I was there about a month and a half ago. Again, it's something that important. So that's going to be cool because I'll kind of walk everybody through that day. Um, on a personal note, it's going to be my younger son's birthday that day, and he's going to be in LA, and I'll be working in Houston. So it's okay because when Dar asked me what my goals are to stay always focused, family first, peace of mind, wellness as I'm being productive for the investor community. So, Dar, what are your goals, sir? Yeah, unless you had any more questions for me for
Well,
now.
and you
Yeah.
you touched a bunch of topics here, and
Yes.
I just got off a week-long retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is
Okay.
a kind of become an expert in the ability to be able to get your goals accomplished through the power of your thought, through the power of things called meditation, whatever that means to some of you. And it's there's meditation where you sit there and you try to think positively, and you try to lead with this mindset of let's say a kindness and gratitude mindset, which is all beautiful. And then there's what I've learned over the last week of meditating anywhere between 4 to 6 hours a day. Imagine sitting in a room with 2,000 other people and going over your thoughts from the past since you were as far as your life can remember. My story goes back when I was in Iran and escaping religious persecution. And so that automatically provides some sort of gratitude towards where we are today. There's billions of people that wish they were in our position. The listeners that are listening here, we've got it relatively good. Even in the hardest times, we've got it relatively good. And so saying that, you're telling me that you are going to Houston and doing a walkthrough, which is exciting, right? And we want to learn what you look for during a walkthrough, because not everybody here who's listening has done walkthroughs to see what to remove contingencies. And is it a simple process? Is it, a hard process? And you mentioned it's your son's birthday. Man, when you have kids and you have work, for the moms and dads out there that do both, I applaud you. It's courageous to be able to do both, and it's hard when you have to make a decision on, do you go to work or do you stay home for your kid's birthday? And I always go into my kids' mindset. What do my kids always say about me as a parent? What do they say about you as a parent? Is did we do overall the best that we could be and do for them? And are we around for them enough when we work and try to make this investment money to get passive income? And that's what it all leads down to, is if you can invest in these kinds of real estate properties, for example, the one in Houston that hopefully can get you an 8 to 10% return, hopefully that'll give you more time to be with your family, right? And that's the goal here. And so my goal is personal freedom. And personal freedom comes from the state of gratitude towards what I've already accomplished. And it comes from the state of gratitude that you, the listeners, have for yourself. Have grace and compassion for yourself for what you've achieved so far. But don't get lazy. Don't get complacent. Ask. One of my friends has this famous statement that he's told me is, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you want to get fed, you better open your mouth. You better ask for help. You better ask for properties that you may, want to learn about to see if there's any investment opportunities for you. Ask for anything that you've ever wanted to learn more about. And I know, Ben, you're such a good educator and mentor, really, and guidance in the real estate world. But even in the personal development world, or even in health, when it comes to sleep, if anyone has any things they need to ask and learn about, whether it's financial or well-being, we're open for that. And then we have to give you guys some value information. I could dive into the world of spirituality for some of you that
I wanted
are.
to ask you before you go there, Dar, before I forget, because you've been, a lot of times I try I try to listen. I'm a good listener. And as a listener that's driving in my car, as if I was, and you touched upon kind of, really your spiritual, that's what you really started with, and spiritual energy, and really being able to meditate, I guess, or you used a different word, um, right? What was
Yeah,
that?
so it's not anymore. The concept of positive thinking and gratitude is a 2023, 24, 20, maybe early 25 ideology. If any of you want to really dive into being able to predict your future, you have to start intentfully understanding what the quantum space does, what the universe or source, or some people call it God.
So I'm
But
gonna, not to cut you off, Dar. I'm gonna keep it just in layman's terms because I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Because again, I'm a big meditator. So when you started talking about it, I liked it. Then I understood the fact that you were saying, okay, now we're talking 4 to 6 hours a day. So it's a different type of level. In fact, I was talking to my family about the commitment that religious, individuals in any religion, nuns, priests, the commitment that they make to their focus, to their purpose, from the minute they wake up to the minute they go to sleep. So Mike, I'm assuming in layman's terms, and again, we all shouldn't assume, but you're going to quantify that for us, that what we're doing during the 4 to 6 hours is being more direct with specifically what we want to make work in our universe, as far as being of service and of course is beneficial for us.
yeah, so
Am I correct or am I off?
sometimes when people listen to
But
the
am I
four,
correct or am I off? Hold on.
you're correct.
50-50?
But I would tell you the 4 to 6 hours is for someone who doesn't have
Okay.
children, who doesn't
Of
have a
course.
job,
Of
right?
course.
So when you take a week long retreat and you do every day for 4 to 6 hours, what
It's a huge
happens?
commitment. It's a
It
huge
is.
commitment. Yeah.
It is. What happens is I'll tell you what, today is a Monday morning for us. And when I woke up, I usually grab my phone. I usually see who texted me or what kind of fires I have to put out before I start my day. I look at my calendar, reminding myself of my appointments and whatnot. Instead, today, I woke up and right away went into a 45-minute meditation on the understanding of my breath, pausing and slowing down, thinking from my heart. And when you think from your heart and you actually focus on your heartbeat, what ends up happening is you calm your mind down. When you calm your mind down and you start to go into really a thought about nothing, just being in space, that's actually the highest frequency. That's where everything that's infinite can come about. And Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches this, and I use the fancy word quantum physics or quantum space. And that all that means is when you are always thinking, you're always in the known. It's when you have to pause and stop the thinking that things will come to you. And at the end of the day, Ben, what is this whole concept of meditation? It's anything you want to wish for. You have to calm the mind first. And when you wish for the idea, the visualization, let's say it's a trip, let's say it's a relationship, let's say it's a financial deal, let's say it's your health, your kid's health, something really powerful and meaningful to the heart. You have to tie an emotion to that visualization. What do I mean by that? Let's say you want to take a trip to Japan with your family. It's been one of your dream trips to go to. What are you in that visualization when you have your eyes closed? What airline did you take? How much did you pack? How many days are you going? Can you visualize what you're wearing on that airplane? And then now, what are the emotions that you feel as you're walking to the gate as a family? Are you feeling joy and gratitude? Are you feeling excitement? Are you feeling a sense of freedom because you just took 10 days off from work? It's the emotions that you attach to your thought. You can't just be in gratitude. It's beautiful. You can't just be in a positive mental space. That's beautiful. You have to feel the actual emotion of your future. You have to feel reinstate the actual emotion of your present, the blessings that we have. And then hopefully you can kind of make the universe come to you.
Okay, perfect. I love it. I love it. You brought it all together for us. We got it in layman's terms. It resonates with me. I slow down my breath, continuously. In fact, my wife, when she sees me doing that, she's like, "You cool? You good? What's up?" I'm like, "It's all right. It's all right. I'm good. I'm good. We'll get there." you know. So full circle, what's a due diligence kind of what are we looking for as we're walking this property on Wednesday? It's going to be an early day for me. I've got an 8:30 flight out of Houston. I'm lucky that I'm going from East Coast to Central, so I'm able to fly out on Wednesday and come back on Wednesday, 8 p.m. So that's something that, again, as an investor, and as Dar said, doing things outside the box. I have a friend of mine who's REO residential broker who's been wanting to get into commercial, who I'm excited that he's going to meet me actually at the property. So we'll do a video together with him. Um, and I'll have the broker also with us, and I'll have a little bit of communication and video with him on how he feels about the property. And they're local. Our brokers are typically, and wherever we buy, are typically boots on the ground, are obviously family offices. They're local to the markets. They know the developers, like we spoke on the last episode, right? We follow the developers. We need their thumbs up. So, during this physical inspection, it's really, in commercial, you have phase one, you have phase two. Like in residential, you have a home inspection. So in layman's terms, in commercial, it's phase one and phase two, in commercial, as opposed to a home inspection with a house. Now, as far as the loan, same thing. Loan contingencies removed on a commercial deal, similar to a residential deal. You have your 21 days when you buy a house. Here, you have normally 45 days or 30 days, to be able to get your financing. And your lender is the one that's actually doing the phase one and phase two, which means the inspections, because they're your partners in the deal. That's the reality of it. And that's the beauty of this whole thing, that, if you can have a lender that sees your vision and understands how you want to acquire properties, which are income producing. This property is pretty much fully occupied. So as far as looking at the leases, receiving the summaries of the leases, in our world, it's called abstracts. That's something that I most recently found out. There's an AI program that law firms use, and they actually put in these leases in there. Back in the day, it used to be the brokers, or if we wanted to be a little bit more OCD about it, we had the attorneys, give us the abstracts, the summaries for the leases. Otherwise, it's on you. You're the investor. That's it. You bought the property. Here's the lease. This is the operator. The lease, as we all know, is the contract between the landlord and the operator. You better know what the contract says. If you don't understand, you have to ask people. So, again, in today's day and age, if somebody wants to do their own legwork, 100% they can do it. You could literally probably Google all of this, and 80% of the time, Dar, I would guarantee it would be 80% correct. Of course, you have to check your results. You have to, of course, do much more, but it's a lot easier than it used to be back in the day. As long as you're willing to go after your dreams. And that's really where our value add is. We can provide what the goals are, how, others have made it. We can show you actual examples. You'll see this particular center, actual tenant profile, the terms of the leases, and how can you actually get it at a decent deal? In order to be able to get it at a decent deal, you have to close. You have to be able to not renegotiate. Nobody's going to want to do business with you if you're the type of buyer that's coming in and then, you're going in 3 weeks before feasibility is done and you're saying, hey, just give me 25% off just because. It makes no sense. Now, if there's something that's there, of course, you can discuss it prior to the time. You can even potentially get an extension. If you have the lender behind you, even better. But, everybody likes transparency. And in this world, because I always say it's kind of like the Wild West, once they kind of have a little bit of a eerie feeling about a certain entity, it's almost like you're blacklisted. That's where you got to be really clean. And I love the fact that we're so after the Sunbelt states. We want to buy properties in the Sunbelt states. This is true America, the cowboy America, where again, at the end of the day, everybody should be free to live the way they want to live. and to enjoy residual income. And Dar, as a foreigner, as my kids would say, and myself as a foreigner, we're able to help our kids achieve the American dream, and God willing, many more Americans and Americans to be, achieve the American dream, as long as you're not a lazy ass. You cannot be a lazy ass. If you guys remember, we spoke about Jim Cramer. And again, for those of you who didn't listen to the episode about Jim Cramer and how he was investing while for a certain amount of time he was living out of his car. That's the type of tenacity you have to have towards your future. My first 2 years in the business, I got my license in 1996, my real estate license, April 1st, on my birthday, 1996. June, that summer, I went full time into real estate. It was for me, whether you pretty much, sink or swim, because this was it. For 2 years, I was telling my son this morning, I worked 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, nonstop. I didn't go to the IDF, even though I was raised in Israel. I left Israel before I was 15. So it wasn't mandatory for me to go. Now, as far as the mission, as far as, helping out, when I committed those 2 years to work as hard as I did for my future and for my family's future, it was almost like a game when you're going back to goals, right? Because that's what this episode is about, goals and 2026 and how are we doing it? That's the manifestation. That's the vision I had. I had my future family. I wasn't living at the Oaks at that time. I had no clue what the Oaks is. I knew I want to provide for my family a lot better than what I had. And I knew if I got the momentum, just keep going with it. Don't stop. Keep going with it. And that's what a lot of people do. They stop. We want to continue motivating you with our platforms, with our tools. That, again, if you have something that you could share, just like we found out about this AI program that attorneys have, excuse me, which again, different spaces like accountancy, law firm, there's always going to be, last time we were talking about the CRM, there's going to be tools that we want to provide to you as value add, so that way you can have a fast.
Now, Ben, I have a great idea that just popped up into my head about your 2026 goals, right? And so you're listening to this and it's already 2026. It's not too late. And one of the things that I always advise is grab a pen and paper, right? Maybe your journal book, and do this with your kids. And if your kids are old enough to be able to comprehend writing something, write down what your goals are for your health in the next 12 months, right? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain muscle? Do you want to go on walks after lunch or dinner? Simple things. Doesn't have to necessarily mean I need to lose 50 pounds and you're making something completely, out of the box, so to speak. And then what do you want in your wealth? Do you want to gain another 10% of income? And it's not about the how. Just what are your goals? We're not sitting here and diving into details of, the way I'm going to grow 10% in my business is I'm going to do some Facebook marketing or X, Y, and Z. It's not about the how. It's just a detailed version of your goals. What is it in 10% that you want to grow? Is it in your hourly salary? Is it in your investment accounts? Is it in your real estate? And then, of course, in relationships, do you want to shrink your circle because you think some people are not in the same mindset anymore as you? Or do you want to grow your circle? Do you want to network with people that are high wealth people that you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with? Look to see who you're hanging out with, including your family, by the way. Could be those average of those 5 people. So what are the relationship goals that you have? Maybe it's a personal relationship or a relationship with your mom or your dad or your kids, right? And so get into the detail of the health, wealth, and relationship goals. And then don't forget to kind of look at it and look at what you wrote down, right? And just go, wow, man, if I was able to get another 10%, that's going to make me feel so freaking happy. And I'm going to be able to take that 10% and then put in my kid's 529 plan or do something with it that can really help my future and the future of my children or my family. Or if I have this relationship that I can put together and network more with people in my business of dentistry and in real estate and as a physician or as a lawyer, that could help me not only feel that I'm not alone in this world of the career that I'm, battling on a daily basis, but also it can give me opportunities, and that's going to make me feel more fulfilled. It's going to make me feel more achieved in my career and what I've done. So they call it vision boards for people out there. It's not necessarily a vision board. It's just a how to or more of a guide of your goals and what they are and what you'll feel when you attain them. It's a very good hack. And don't just do it yourself. Create like a 15-minute, 20-minute time between you and your kids and your family and your partner if you have one, and write it down. And even if you don't have a family, maybe a friend or a brother or a sister that you could do this with together. And if you're, vulnerable enough, share it with each other. You'd be shocked to hear what your kids' goals are for next year. It actually becomes kind of fun, right, Ben? I mean, imagine your kid just graduated from University of Miami, by the way. It's a great school, very hard to get into, and now they're done. What are their goals? What are they thinking about? It may shock you. It may create a conversation that could be really, really powerful for their growth.
I can attest to all of that. I think you really brought it together for us here as far as, again, you've mentioned it multiple times, putting it in writing. I have one confession to make. I do a lot of audio recordings. So that's something for those of you out there that are not writers, because I have a whole bunch of friends that until I wrote the book, and until me and my wife created the audio version of the book, they didn't really listen to an audio book or really even opened up a book, because they've been reading on their phone and they've had the scrolling, quote unquote, what the 2 decades and the humans have been going through. So going back to putting it in writing, physically seeing it, 100%, that's the proven way to do it. However, if you want to do it with an audio message or a video message, that's even greater. That's you talking to yourself. And I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I swear, I tell everybody, look in the mirror and you know exactly what you were supposed to be doing. You know exactly. And whatever you what don't like or like, you need to embrace it. It doesn't matter. It's you. You must love yourself much more than you dislike yourself. You're human.
We're each other's number. We're ourselves. We critique ourselves the most, and what you tell to yourself, even in your mind, let alone out loud, can manifest itself eventually. So if they eventually can happen, you better flip the script 51% of the time and tell yourself how proud you are for what you've done since the 90s in your real estate world, right? And for the people listening, you've gone through school. Some of you've gone through bankruptcy. You've gone through the hardships of the
Yeah,
financial.
give yourself credit.
Yeah,
Give
give yourself
yourself
some
credit.
credit.
Yes.
Give yourself a fat hug,
Yes.
and tell yourself, man, I am freaking proud of you.
Yes.
And I will be even more proud of you as, you and I are at this age where we're entering chapter 2 or the final chapters, the second half of life. And with wisdom and the experience comes wisdom. And through that wisdom, we have to remind ourselves to slow down and have that grace and that compassion for ourselves more than the criticism and I didn't, I don't have FU money yet. I'm not worth $30 million yet. I'm not, all these things that you tell yourself in your mind and out loud. Why don't you tell yourself that at least you have a home, you have an apartment, you have a car, you have a job, you have family perhaps that are healthy. Shift the focus and you'll see the universe.
Focusing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Focusing on a peace of mind is something that, I don't know if those of you that watched the Eddie Murphy documentary, Being Eddie, focusing on your peace of mind, just having a mental, Eddie Murphy, having a mental, clear peace of mind. Um, Amazing. I'm a big movie buff, so film buff. So, um, as far as really, I think I want to kind of end the episode with, I want to tell you guys a compelling story about the commencement speaker from the graduation um, at University of Miami just now, who happened to be a gentleman that suffered um, an accident as he was serving a tour at the age of 19. I believe he was. I don't quite remember where he was serving, but he ended up graduating from University of Miami 3 years ago. His name is Jose Rene, and he made such an impact on all of us, the whole family, as we watched him speak. He suffered great burns to his body, specifically his face, and 2 weeks after he came out of coma, after his Hummer went over, an explosion, and he realized what he looks like at the age of 19. He realized that life isn't going to be the same. And he said at his commencement speech that if he would have told his 19-year-old self at that time, um, that 20 years later, he's going to be speaking as a commencement speaker in University of Miami as an alumni, because he comes from a place of service. And all of us here on the podcast, we come from a place of service as well. We do what we do because we enjoy serving. Dar enjoys serving. I enjoy serving. And we created the platform. We're putting everything on it for those investors, financial freedom seekers, those that want to donate into a legitimate, transparent foundation, those that are seeking free information on how to get there and have actual people to connect with. So we're hoping that with 2026 now, we're going to be able to have more interesting, not, I don't want to say, like I always say, it's not necessarily about the individuals that we're talking about or that we have as guests on the show. It's really more about how we can help you, the listener, which means if you're an accountant, if you're an attorney, if you're an operator of any kind, and you want to somehow dive into the CRE world, this should be your fast pass. And again, hopefully our information is interesting. I know that I am, pretty good to listen to sometimes at a faster speed. Um, Dar, I don't know, you might want to slow him. No, Dar's perfect. Dar's good. He speaks really good. I slow it down. I think it's more the educator in me that is stuck in elementary school. So those of you that think that I'm speaking too slow, it's because I'm slow. So I go slow. So that way I don't run away from you guys. But
And Ben,
yes,
you're wrapping it up on your end.
yes,
And these listeners are listening in 2026. Write down your goals. It's not too late. Even if it's
yes.
January, February, March, I don't care what month it is. Write down your goals and feel the emotions, what those goals look like. And I guarantee you, some of those that you write down or text or voice message or do a video of, it will surprise you how many of them will come true. And if there's in any way that I can help you, reach out to us. Or if Ben can help you with any sort of investments, we're ready.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoy the week, everybody. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy upcoming new year. And looking forward to connecting with everybody.
Bye now.
Bye. Take care.